Yes, class, am I audible? Maha, Abdullah, Fatima, all are here? All right. So in the last class, I had stopped at this position, but I think only Fatima and one more student has submitted. Who else has submitted? I think one is Maha. Other one? Fatima, no? Yes, Fatima. Only these two have submitted. What about others? The last assignment. C class. We had started with unit vectors first. Unit vectors are the universal vectors. So along x-axis, along positive x-axis, you have I cap. Along negative x-axis, you have minus I cap. So I cap becomes a unit vector along x-axis. So if it's positive, then it will be plus I cap. If it's negative x-axis, then it will be minus I cap. If it's j cap, then it's everything is along y-axis. For z-axis, you have k cap. The rest of the things remain the same: positive, plus, negative, minus. All these are the three unit vectors that you have. And if you add their signs, that becomes 6 complete unit vectors for all the available axes. Then we had started with Cartesian form. Cartesian form means what? Cartesian form means in terms of I cap, j cap, and k cap if you write. I, j, k, in terms of these if you write the vectors. So you just have to focus on the coefficient of it. Even if you multiply, even if you divide, even if you add, you do anything, you just have to focus on the coefficients of it. I cap's coefficient, j cap's coefficient, k cap's coefficient and all. In certain questions. So I think in the revision, no, let's do this question, this first part. See, A is given as 3I cap plus 6J cap minus 2K cap. So A plus B, which is equal to C, this will be equal to what? This whole equation, 3I cap plus 6J cap minus 2K cap, plus this equation, that is 0I cap minus 4J cap plus 3K cap. Now one thing, class, it can happen that instead of writing this 0I cap, no, nothing is written. Nothing is mentioned, not even 0 I cap is mentioned. So if 0 I cap is nothing regarding the I cap unit vector is mentioned, assume that the coefficient is 0, that's why 0 I cap has been omitted to write. Otherwise, if there's a value more than 0, be it negative, positive, coefficients will be mentioned. Now from here, C will be what? Like term together. So 3I cap plus 0 I cap will give you 3I cap, 6J cap, minus 4J cap. This gives you plus 2J cap, minus 2K cap, plus 3K cap gives you plus K cap, right? So we have added both the vectors and now we have to find the magnitude also. So for finding out the magnitude, we take an under root. We take under root, we add the squares of coefficients of all the unit vectors that we have. So this becomes 3 square plus 2 square plus 1 square. So this gives what? 3 square, this is 9, this is 4, this is 1. So we have what? We have root 14. This much is the C vector. If you want to make it a unit vector, then you divide this and this, the vector with the magnitude. Just note down this, then we'll revise parallelogram because Abdullah was not there in the class and we have to revise in any ways. So just note down the solution. So in Cartesian form, that was the method to just focus on the coefficients of I cap, J cap, and K cap, and accordingly keep adding them. In polar form means what? Which are not in terms of I cap, J cap, K cap. That is simply two vectors are there forming an angle between them, like this. So here you do not have the polar form means anything apart from axis. Cartesian form means you just focus on the axis, I cap, J cap, K cap. When do you write this, or with respect to which thing? Axis only. So if your vectors are not given in any direction which is lying on the axis, it is lying on the planes, then cannot be added. Obviously we can add it. That form is known as polar form. So we all have done this addition of vectors in parallelogram. I'll repeat this because this is very important. That's why we had done this earlier. And you also, Abdullah. Since this was missed by you, so just pay attention. So we have three major vector laws. And these, a satisfaction of these laws are essential for any physical quantity to be called a vector. If a quantity has a magnitude, has a direction, but still does not obey the vector laws, you cannot consider it as vector. Electric current is the best example of a quantity. Current you will study in class 12. So current is one of the good examples for this. Current is what? Electric current is a quantity that has a direction and magnitude but does not obey these laws. So we consider it under the category of scalar quantities. Now starting with the parallelogram now. For a parallelogram vector addition, there has to be two criteria which have to be followed. Firstly, it can add only two vectors at a time. If two vectors are given, whatever is the angle that is formed between them, this is vector A, this is vector B, then we can apply parallelogram. If more than one vectors are given and we still have to find out the resultant and they are given in polar form so that we can use the parallelogram law. So what we'll do, first we'll solve two, then we'll take out the resultant, then we'll solve it with the third one. Like this we'll keep on solving, but at a time you have to choose only two vectors. So it's kind of limitation also of parallelogram law and one of the criteria also of parallelogram law. Second thing is that vectors should be coinitial. Coinitial vectors means they should have the same starting point. It's not if you have one vector over here and you have one vector over here. This is F1 is equal to 5 Newton. This is F2 is equal to 3 Newton. You cannot use parallelogram law and add these two. You have to have them coinitial. Like this. F2 should be equal to 3 Newton. Coinitial means having the same starting point. Having the same starting point means what? Head should not coincide, but both the tails should coincide with each other. I'll just give you time. So Abdullah, you can at least take the screenshots because others have, I think, written this. Now, what is a parallelogram? A parallelogram is a four-sided quadrilateral. It's a quadrilateral, so obviously it will be having four sides. The speciality about parallelogram is that both the opposite sides are equal. If this side is equal to this side and this side is equal to this side, and not only equal, they are also parallel to each other. Now, the net angle formed by all these angles is a complete circle, which is 360 degrees. And sum of these angles, angle 1 plus angle 2 is 180. Now, why are we focusing and why are we studying parallelogram? So, as discussed already earlier, that if two vectors are in such a way that they form and represent the adjacent sides of parallelogram, it means this was your whole parallelogram. If you have such a vector which is representing you the adjacent sides of a parallelogram, like this, you have adjacent sides of a parallelogram. Then if you have these adjacent sides of parallelogram, then the resultant, there has to be a resultant. That resultant is given by this is given by the diagonal of the parallelogram. These are your vector 1, vector 2, and this is the resultant of the vector quantity. Fine. Two adjacent sides of parallelogram law, resultant is given by the diagonal of the parallelogram. So that's what I've written over here. If two vectors represent the adjacent sides of a parallelogram in magnitude and direction, then their diagonal represents the resultant. Now there are three steps whenever we have any vector quantity with us. First is the geometrical construction. Second is the magnitude. Third is the direction. Fine. Above was the law, statement of the law, and the statement of the law also comes in your exam. The parallelogram law, at least. Not the triangles or polygons law, but at least for the parallelogram law, you have the law with you. Now the derivation. Let's quickly revise the derivation. How to do the derivation? Make the parallelogram, complete the parallelogram first. That is your first step. You have to complete the parallelogram. Drop a perpendicular, which is Sn. Fine. This is angle theta, so obviously this angle will also be theta because QS and OT are parallel to each other. Clear? So this is the construction. First step is construction. Construction means what? Geometrical construction means what? You just complete the parallelogram. Now here what happens in this triangle, when you focus this big triangle, you are able to observe that this is the diagonal which you have to find. So if you apply parallelograms law, this plus, not parallelogram, sorry, Pythagoras theorem, then square of this hypotenuse is equal to square of sum of the square of the perpendicular plus the sum of this base. So how will I write it? I'll write it in this way. OSN, like this I'll write. This is the triangle OSN. Remember, this was the parallelogram side Q. So this is the triangle that I have written. And using Pythagoras theorem, finally I am left with what? I am left with under root OS is equal to OQ plus QN square plus NS square. Fine. Abdullah, tell me, is it clear till this step or any step you have not understood till now?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
It's clear? Oh, good. Now see, using this extra triangle, now that we have this triangle, QSN, we calculate the value of cos theta, we calculate the value of sin theta. We see that QN comes out to be B cos theta, SN comes out to be B sin theta. It's a derivation, Abdullah. Just focus on the resultant. Resultant, you have to focus, and this derivation also comes. So when you put in the values of this QN, SN in the main equation, you ultimately get what? You ultimately get resultant is equal to under root A square plus B square plus 2AB into cos theta. This is the resultant's equation using parallelograms law. Abdullah, I'll do one more thing. In the class now that we had before you joined, one class we had of vectors where we covered this parallelogram derivation a little bit in detail. So I'll send you that video lecture. Though major portion I have told you only, but if you see that video, more things will get clear and you can note down also that. Fine, Abdullah? Now see, last step is and direction as well. Direction means what? Direction of the resultant. So if you make angle with one of the vectors, you get the direction. So how to do the direction? How to write the direction? That direction is given by tan theta. So tan theta basically gives you the direction. So once you solve this, once you write the value of tan theta, you get B sin theta divided by A plus B cos theta. So these three things are essential. At least note down the formula. I'll write it separately. Derivation, you can watch the video and cover. Otherwise, on Saturday, I'll take the extra class. Whatever suits you, Abdullah. Just let me. So the resultant's magnitude is given by A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta and tan beta. See the difference between theta and beta. There's a difference between theta and beta. Theta is the angle that is formed between the vectors. Theta is this angle, this complete angle that is formed between both the vectors. That is theta. Whereas beta is the angle that is made with the resultant. The resultant makes with one of the vectors. So tan beta is equal to b sine theta plus a plus b cos theta. At least you should remember these for today's class. Now, one thing, if you write it in this manner, then how will you get your answer? You have tan beta. Tan 30 degree is your answer. How can you say your answer is tan 30 degree? You cannot say answer is tan 30 degree. For that, it means you have to shift the tangent. Beta is here. This becomes tan inverse b sine theta divided by a plus b cos theta. What is meant by this? This is meant by inverse trigonometric function. This is known as inverse trigonometric function. Why am I writing this? Because in your even school exams, half yearly exams, you have to mention these points. It's like sine theta if it's half. So theta is what? We know theta is 30 degree. But how to write it in terms of this? You will write theta is equal to sine inverse, because sine will go here, half. Like this you write. Or for example, you can take tan theta is equal to 1. You know theta is equal to 40 degree. But if you do not know, then how will you represent it? Theta is equal to tan inverse 1. Or take some more examples. If I say tan theta is equal to 1 by root 3. In inverse trigonometric function, theta will be equal to what? Tan inverse 1 by root 3. Especially in your relative velocity in 2 dimensions, in this lesson only, projectile motion in 2D. We'll see in relative velocity, you will be needing to write these angles. So that time also it's essential, and you know here this is 30 degrees. So in any way, in any manner this is given. Let's say tan theta is 3. So theta becomes tan inverse 3. So whatever values you remember, you will answer it. You know sine theta is half. You will say theta is 30. If you do not know such a value like tan theta is equal to 3, that you are not aware of, so you will simply say theta is tan inverse 3. Before we begin with the questions, now at least note down these parts, because with the help of the formula and direction, you will get the answer. Let's do some questions. See, F1 is 2 Newton, F2 is 1 Newton, angle between them is 60 degree. So net force means magnitude plus direction. At least tell the magnitude by that formula, R is equal to under root. Theorem, theta is mentioned to you, 60 degree. Now find the full answer. Theta is given, angle between the two forces is 60 degree. So don't give the answer in terms of theta. Put the value of theta. See, these questions, how do you solve? Both the two vectors are co-initial. So if the two vectors are co-initial, first criteria has been satisfied. Second criteria, both of the vectors should represent the adjacent sides of a parallelogram. So if you look over here, this represents the adjacent sides of parallelogram. Look, now the steps. First step is to do the construction. So now you already know that the resultant is given by the resultant of the forces is given by the diagonal of this parallelogram. So you know already where the resultant lies, but you just have to find out the magnitude and you just have to find out the direction this time. Using the full formula. Formula of the resultant is what? Under root f1 square plus f2 square plus 2 f1 into f2 cos theta. This is the formula, no, of parallelogram law that we study. F1 is what? F1 is 2 Newton. F2 is 1 Newton. And theta is 60 degree. So everything you are aware of, you just have to put into this value. So, yes, Aram, right answer. Now it's correct. Aisha, I think slight error is there. Let's calculate it. I think Aram's answer is right. F1 is what? 2 square. F1 is, one of them is 1 square. 2 into 2 into 1 into cos 60 degree. So this is 4. Yes, now I share your answer. So 4 plus 1. This becomes 4 into 1 by 2. This is 2. So 4 plus 3, 7 under root 7. So net resultant force magnitude is what? The magnitude of the force is root 7. But should we stop over here? Is my answer fine? For a vector quantity, writing just root 2 is not sufficient. I have to find out the direction. Let's say this is beta. So this becomes A. Which is A and which is B? How to decide? You decide by the angle, the axis with which the angle has been made between the resultant. That is considered as A, and the opposite one is considered as B. So your A over here is 2 and your B over here becomes 1 Newton. So regarding the direction, tan theta tan beta will be equal to B sine theta divided by A plus B cos theta. B is your 1 Newton, 1 into sine 60 degree, no? Angle is 60 degree. That becomes root 3 by 2 divided by A is 2 Newton plus 1 Newton into cos 60 degrees mentioned, no? So that's half. This much is mentioned. So this becomes what? Root 3 divided by 2. And this becomes 2 plus half. It's just 2 plus half. That is 3 by 2. So when you write this, see, in here, what do we have? This part is simply 1 into 1 by 2. 1 multiplied by 1 by 2. That gives 1 by 2. Then you have 2 plus 1 by 2. Fine. So this becomes 4. 2 into 2 becomes 4 plus 1 divided by 2. Fine. So 4 plus 1 divided by 2. So you can directly write 5 by 2 or you can cancel out from by writing every step. So tan beta becomes root 3 divided by 5. Now how will you put your answer? How will you write your answer? Beta is equal to tan inverse root 3 divided by 5. This is the complete answer. That's how you write it.
Ma'am? Ma'am, could you explain this calculation once more, please?
Which one? Direction one.
Yes.
See, Aram. Formula is this. Tan beta is equal to B sine theta plus A plus B cos theta. Now, when you will be having two vectors, the first thing that you will be getting confused will be on the fact whether B is this vector or B is this vector, A is this vector or A is this vector. And every time you cannot make it definite. Angle can be given everywhere. Angle can be taken anywhere. How to choose it? So this depends on the fact the angle that the resultant makes with the axis, that quantity is taken as A. So here beta is made with F1. So F1 is taken as A. And the opposite one will automatically become B. Now in the formula, tan beta is equal to B cos theta divided by A plus B sine theta. See over here, beta tan beta we know. B is 1 Newton, F2. So we have written 1 multiplied by cos theta. Oh, sorry, I have written it in verse over here. This is B sine theta b sine theta divided by b cos theta. So sine 60 degree, that is root 3 by 2. Fine. Now, a is what? A is just this vector, 2 Newton. So I'll write this as 2. Then plus b again. B is what? B is 1. 1 into what? Cos theta. Cos theta is what? 60 degree. Cos 60 degree, you know that is half. So just focus on this. This is 1 into half means what? Half. So 2 plus half gives you 4 by 2. Sorry, 5 by 2. This gives you 5 by 2. So here you have root 3 by 2. In the denominator you have 5 by 2. 2 will get cancelled. Will you get root 3 by 5? Clear, Arav, now?
Yes, yeah.
So how to write the answer? In your answer sheets, how will you write your answer? Net force is root 7 Newton due east and something is not mentioned, so need not write due. Just write with beta is equal to tan inverse root 3 by 5, like this way. All right, class, note down this. Find the resultant force. I'll write down that also. Try this. So angle between them is what? This will be 90 degree. Let's discuss it now. So correct answers have been given by Aram and Maha. See, you just have to apply your parallelogram. Okay, Fatima is also answered. Fatima, the magnitude is correct. There's slight error in the direction. And it's very good, Fatima, that at least you have answered the complete vector. A vector means not only the magnitude, you have to find out the direction as well. So vector is what? Under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Here theta is what? 90 degree. A is your F1, which is 3 Newton. Net, no, Aisha. Now Aisha opposite. Aisha, your magnitude is incorrect, your direction is correct. So F1 is what? F1 is 3 Newton. Then B vector is what? This is F2, which is 5 Newton. Theta is what? 90 degree. Yes, Aisha. So that was a typing error, or you have recalculated it?
No, typing it.
Okay, fine. So resultant will be what? Under root 3 square plus 5 square plus 2 into A into B into cos 90 degree. Cos 90 is 0. So this entire term becomes 0. So R is what? Under root 3 square plus 5 square. You have under root 9 plus 25, which is equal to under root 34. Now this is what? This is just the magnitude. I have to write the direction. So if I complete this, here, this is the result. This is beta, let's say. Beta is the angle between the resultant and one of the vectors. So we have to find tan beta. Now listen carefully. If this resultant is making angle with this, so this becomes what? This becomes your A. And whatever is left, this becomes B. So you have the main formula for the direction as tan beta is equal to B sine theta divided by A plus B cos theta. So B is which vector? F2, no? F2 is 5, F1 is 3. So F2 is 5 into sine 90 degree plus this is 3 plus 5 into cos 90 degree. So sine 90 is 1, cos 90 is 0. This becomes 5 by 3. So beta becomes tan inverse 5 by 3. So root 34 is right. Beta is tan inverse 5 by 3. This is correct. Note down the solution. 3 cases we will see.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, today onwards, every day class will be at 5 o'clock.
What, Aisha?
Today onwards, the class will be at 5 o'clock every day.
Yes, the time that we had, because some classes are clashing. See, I shifted it to half an hour. Remember, 4:30 I have shifted it.
Yes, yes.
But then again, some classes were colliding. Other classes, not mine, not yours. So some classes are colliding. That's why Learnivio team has only shifted this timing. This timing I have not decided. Any issues?
Yes, ma'am, because we finish class at 6:30. Again, we have another class at 6:30. So there's no gap in between.
You have class at 6:30. Okay.
So,
So till the time those classes are clashing, no, I'll try to leave you 10 minutes prior because I have to talk to them. Whatever classes are colliding, no, I think some more class begins during this interval also. So I'll just talk, and I get this fact that you need a break also in between. I'll leave you 10 minutes earlier today. Fine. For the next classes, I'll talk to them. If it's possible, then we'll shift it. Which subject do you have today, by the way? Monday and Wednesday?
bio.
Bio. Okay.
Ma'am, it's for me as well.
Aram also, same thing. Okay, fine. All right. So no issues. I'll stop here today only. From the next class onwards, we can have a class 15 minutes earlier if it's possible. I'll talk. We have the class on Monday now, no? Fine, I'll talk. Right now, you people can leave now. Have a 15 minutes break. More than 15 minutes. I think 20 minutes are there. So rest of the things I'll cover in the next class. And one more thing. Abdullah, are you available this Saturday for the backup class of your motion in a straight line has been missed? So are you
Yes.
available this Saturday? All right. I'll send you the timings. Fine?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, class. You can leave today.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, we'll be having term 1 exams probably first or
When?
second,
When?
first or second week of September.
Second week of September.
First or second week.
First or second week. So syllabus era?
First 3 chapters: units and measurements, motion in a plane, and motion in a
In a straight line.
Yeah.
All right, fine. So I think vectors, now for vectors, we need one class for resolution of vectors. Okay, then we need one class for dot product, cross product. That